Okay, so recently there's been an issue. I apologize in advance here. This is Buster Chops, and I'm sounding out of breath because I'm running into a bit of a time crunch. So I'm doing this video while I'm actually doing my daily workout on the stationary bike. So you may hear me huffing and puffing and panting and wheezing. I apologize in advance, but time constraints dictate that this must be done. So recently there was an issue here in BC where this lady, Karen Wang, was removed or stepped down as a Liberal candidate in an election. Now, the reason that she did this is because she posted something to WeChat. I have no idea what WeChat is, but I assume it's something like a Twitter or some group thing where you get on a list and you can send out messages to your followers or something. I have no idea. I'm a tech dummy. So, regardless, her message was, if we can increase the voting rate, as the only Chinese candidate in this riding, if I can garner 16,000 votes, I will easily win the by-election, control the election race, and make history. Woo! Got to get that exclamation mark in. My opponent in this by-election is the NDP candidate, Wang, of Indian descent. So she has taken a lot of heat for this comment because she's such a racist. Now, she has come out and said that she is not a racist, in fact, and that it was somebody on her team that posted the message and not her, because she was too busy getting the campaign organized or whatever. I believe her. I'll believe that she's not a racist, of course, because in none of the stories that I've seen so far, I haven't seen anybody really come up with something that she has done that is racist. It's not like people have asked for a job and she said, sorry, you're white, or you're Indian, or you're black, so I'm not going to hire you. I haven't seen her talk about how people of Indian descent are lesser human beings. I haven't seen her do or say anything that I would construe as racist. I don't even see this comment that she's made here as racist. This is just a statement. My opponent in this by-election is the NDP candidate Wang of Indian descent. He is Indian, or of Indian descent. So I don't see a statement of fact as something racist. Sorry, it doesn't strike me that way. However, my opinion on this is she should not have been removed. She should not step down. She shouldn't even apologize. And why not? Because I don't see as how this is any different than people saying we should vote for Hillary Clinton because she could be the first female president of the United States. People saying we should vote for person X because they are female, or they are black, or they are the first person of whatever particular thing. Oh, they're going to be the first Muslim member of Congress. And it seems to me that there's a lot of people that seem to think that way, that look at things, and they look at the superficial, and they say, we need to vote for this person because superficial reason A. So she's done nothing wrong. She's operating within the system as the system has operated for the last however long, probably the last 12 to 20 years. Her problem is that she's now using it not to say vote for me because I'm Chinese, but she's adding in the, oh, we can take this election if all us Chinese people vote together. But this is nothing new either, because people have often voted as blocks, or at least they have used the perceived unity of their group to try and get people to vote as blocks. She's simply highlighting, if we don't do this, another group of superficially associated people, X, will do it, and they will get the person from their group into the position. And I think that's what she's being punished for. More making it public and more directing it against somebody of Indian descent. If she'd said this about somebody who was white, I don't think there would have been a big deal. Because I think she could have said somebody, Bob Jones, of European descent. And the response would have been, yeah, the European descent people have been in power for too long. They've had too much influence and too much sway. So we should get a different point of view and a different person in there. So, Karen Wang, I think you've been done wrong. I wouldn't have voted for you. But I don't think that you should have had to withdraw. I don't think you should have to apologize. And I don't believe your apology. But either way, you should still be allowed to run. Now, I'm going to go through her actual message here. I'm going to just be critical of a couple things. One, if we can increase the voting rate as the only Chinese candidate in this riding, then you would replace the if and put then. I can garner 16,000 votes and I will easily win the by-election, control the election race, and make history. Because if you're starting up here, if we can increase the voting rate, we being her team, then stating as the only Chinese candidate in this riding, then she's talking about herself. So as it reads now, it's very awkward. My opponent in this by-election is the NDP candidate Singh, comma, of Indian descent. There you go. So now that that pettiness is out of the way, I do have a problem with her statement. And here's the problem that I have. She's running for government in Canada, and she says, I'm the only Chinese candidate. But you're not Chinese, you're Canadian. So I wouldn't vote for you, number one, because you're liberal politics, but I wouldn't vote for you because you see yourself as Chinese. You don't see yourself as Canadian first. And this is, obviously, she's probably more just speaking. She's talking about the physicality of a Chinese person. But I think it speaks to a greater problem where people see themselves as, oh, I'm Indo-Canadian, I'm Chinese-Canadian, I'm Japanese-Canadian, I'm whatever. The people I want running my government, I want them, first and foremost, viewing themselves as Canadian. Not Chinese, not Indian, Canadian. Because, again, their job in government isn't to represent Chinese people in the Chinese community. It's not to represent Indian people in the Indian community. Whoever gets in there, be they male or female, whatever race, their job is to represent the constituency, the people that live in that constituency, and those are Canadians, and look at what's best for them as a whole, rather than seeing their the demographics and saying, okay, my community is made up of demographic A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It should be, my demographic is Canadians. What's going to be best for all the people in my area? So I think this here, and it's not just her. So again, I'm using her as the highlight for this only because she's in the news, not because I have any particular animosity towards her. As I say, I think she should still be in the running. But I think it speaks to a greater problem where, because of all the intersectional politics and intersectionality that has been preached and pounded down people's throats, they are ultimately encouraged to extricate themselves from the idea that they are Canadian as first and foremost. And this is a bad thing. I think it's something where we all lose, because then if you are seeing yourself as Chinese Canadian or Indian Canadian or white Canadian, European Canadian, whatever, when you get into government, your actions will be colored by that fact, and by the fact that you then will feel an undue pressure to represent a particular group of people more than represent everybody. So that's my thought on the Karen Wang thing. I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion. I'm just letting you know mine.